If you've been waiting for the Seltos to grow up, it finally has. Yes, Kia has made some serious changes to the car. But you know what? Bigger does not necessarily mean it's better. That's why I'm going to take you through everything. The good, maybe the great, the bad, maybe the ugly as well. But before I get into all of those details, like, share, subscribe to Acko Drive right away. Alright, let's talk about how different it looks. There is a genuine change in dimensions here. It's 95 millimeters longer and the wheelbase too has increased by 80 millimeters, which basically translates into more space on the inside. But genuinely, it has grown, and 95 millimeters might not look that much on paper, but here it does look slightly elongated. Now the changes have also come because it's now based on an all-new platform, the K3 Global platform. But you know what? There are certain things that kind of get your attention but should have been done better. And that's the front design. Well, Kia could have done a better job here, for sure. That digital tiger face, well, it's alright. And though there is a bit of aggression there, this one still looks more like a facelift than an all-new generation model. More definitely could have been done there, especially given how diverse the company's portfolio is across the globe and taking inspiration from other SUVs in that category as well. Let us know which face you would have liked to see here in the comment section below. Now, I'll get back to the DRLs here. Now, the star map LED lamps are standard on the car. What changes is this unit, because this is available only on the GT line. The tech line comes with a completely different unit, which is a bit more, what I can say, what is the word I can use is sad. This one looks very pretty and in your face, which brings out again the aggression of it all. But again, as I said earlier, this looks more like a facelift. And you know what? That also goes against it. But then you see the design of the bonnet overall. There is a slight change in that. That's also because pedestrian safety has been taken into account here. And Kia is going big on safety. Now, I'll talk about that part later. But before I get into the rest, let's check out the rear.
There is a question I have for you though.
Does that split LED tail lamp remind you of some other car? If not, I'll remind you. That actually looks something close to the Mahindra XEV 9e. If you can remember, it gets that similar shape here as well. Not a direct lift, definitely, but very similar when it comes to shape. And of course, this protruding bit just adds to all of that. The tail design, of course, has changed a lot because, of course, there has been an enhancement in length. But overall, it remains pretty much the same. The rear wiper again is hidden, and some of those have still been maintained in this new generation. Some of those quirks actually have been maintained in this new generation. And while there's not much to talk about here other than the way it looks, the big issue is that boot space. It has now actually increased by 14 litres. Earlier 433 litres, now 447.
You get 18-inch crystal cut alloy wheels with neon colored brake calipers, which is a nice modern touch. Ground clearance has been maintained at 190 millimeters, so you're still getting decent height for Indian roads. Inside is where Kia takes things to the next level.
Inside, there's a lot new in the car, and there's a lot of attention to detail put into the fact that driver and passengers are extremely well taken care of. The bigger unit that you see up here is basically the big thing that Kia is introducing. It's a 30-inch unit, but divided into three parts. That is why Trinity Display, that's what it's called. So you have a 12.3-inch system here, 12.3 inch here, and there's one in the middle just for the aircon, that is about 5 inch. But the problem is here that as a driver, as you sit here in this frame, this is not visible very quickly, especially because you'll put your hands here. If you put your hand here, nothing is visible on that. That could have been worked out. Earlier it was all about giving everything to the consumers. Then it was about a bit about consolidation, about making better decisions. And now it's about making braver decisions, but also providing stuff like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as standard on the car. That is big. And especially if you go one trim above the HTK, you also get options as well. So you have an HTE optional pack where you get additional features. You also have an HTK optional, which is the mid trim, and it comes with options as well. And in that option variant, you have the option, for lack of words, a panoramic sunroof, even ventilated seats. So yes, having those features in the mid trim really helps. Now it's only about how Kia prices those variants.
I spoke about the wheelbase earlier, and now it's time to show you if that stretch has translated into space for rear seat passengers.
Look at the knee room I have. This is the farthest this seat comes. And this is not even my driving style right now, but I just wanted to check that. There is room for my knees here, and I'm very comfortable at the back. So if I use it according to my driving preference, there is bound to be more space on offer. And that's the intelligent bit, providing more space. Of course, you can recline this seat as well, so that you actually have a very nice seating arrangement. Now the clever bits here are the charging points. Usually you have the charging points here, but Kia has given it right here. It's very interesting how those things develop, especially when a global company, those technology basically trickle down to these cars. It's very interesting to see that. Overall levels here of spaciousness, very nice. A larger grass area here, which also enhances that spaciousness part which I said earlier, and a good use of dual tone colors inside the interior. So on the looks front, it ticks all the boxes, and on the space front, it also ticks all the right boxes. Don't forget, as I told you earlier, boot space too has been enhanced.
Now I spoke to the folks at Kia who said that increasing the boot space wasn't really on the cards. It was something that just happened. It's a marginal increase in volume, but a welcome one.
Would we have liked the new generation of the Seltos with new powertrains? Yes, but sadly it continues with the old ones. The 1.5 litre naturally aspirated, this 1.5 litre turbo petrol, and there is also a diesel, which I will drive, of course, and let you know about it. But the good part about all of this is that the 1.5 litre turbo now is also available in the base variant. Well, sort of, because the base variant also gets an option variant, the HTEO, which gets this one. And it's very interesting that Kia has planned that strategy accordingly. But let me not diverge and get down to how this one drives. The power is similar, 158 bhp on offer. The torque is good as well, but you know what? In economy mode, it's very sluggish. Torque does not kick in early, and that's where you start struggling when it comes to, just making your overtaking maneuvers. Put it in sport mode, there is a bit of urgency in the engine, but it's ever so slight because the revs just build and there is nothing till about 2000 RPM. Everything happens between 2200 RPM and 2500 RPM where torque is at its peak. And that's when you get a surge of energy to push ahead. So yes, I mean, it is a bit annoying, But if you are in cruise mode, if you want to just cruise down the highway, there is nothing like it. You will enjoy it. And yes, fuel efficiency too is at the very core of how this engine is built. But the only challenge now, I feel, is the refinement levels. In the earlier Seltos, engine noise was very much contained. But this one, anything above 4000 RPM, you can hear the engine inside, and this is a petrol engine. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's basically what I'm trying to say. It was not that pronounced. What's happened here? The steering feel actually has become softer, but that necessarily does not mean that it's a bad thing. It's good, because that way maneuverability within the city, outside the city, makes a lot of difference, and it just eases the pressure on the drivers. So yes, it's a good thing.
Remember, there's a diesel as well, and I drove that one too.
The diesel has always been a strong performer for Kia, and hence it continues in this generation as well. It's the same engine, 1.5 litre turbo diesel unit, punching about 114 brake horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. Now the automatic transmission in this one is a torque converter, so it tries to play catch up with your inputs to the accelerator. So every time you put your foot down, there is a hint of lag even in sport mode, and then once it crosses that 3000 RPM, you have the engine noise seep into the cabin, which is very annoying, and it happens in the petrol as well.
But there's one more aspect that I want to talk about. Disappointed, yes, but that's not the only area it disappoints in.
On the suspension setup, it's a bit on the softer side compared to the earlier version. The firmer suspension setup from the previous generation model should have continued, because it was quintessentially how a Seltos drove. This one will do decently well on bad roads, but then again, once on the bad road, there is a bit of lateral movement, and which was not on the previous generation of the Seltos.
But it's the features on offer that redeem the Seltos. Let's start by talking about what Kia is calling its biggest draw, the ADAS Level 2 Plus with 21 autonomous safety features. The infotainment system is responsive and intuitive. Your favorite features are never more than 2 taps away. And the standard features on the car are quite good too. 10.25 inch screen, 6 airbags, and you have optional equipment available from the base variant. So you pay additional to get features that are likely available in higher variants. Pure genius. The full lineup includes HTE, HTK, HTX, GTX and the X-Line variants. You're looking at 24 different configurations across petrol, diesel, manual, automatic and dual clutch options. So here's the bottom line. The new generation of the Kia Seltos is a genuine upgrade over the previous generation when it comes to feature offerings and space. But it disappoints on the ride and handling and maybe lack of powertrain options. Pricing will be announced on January 2nd and deliveries start mid-January. The company says that there's a lot of interest for the car, but it will again depend on whether Kia India can price the car below the Tata Sierra, because that's the real threat now. A marketing strategy like retaining the same price as the launch, which was 9,69,000 rupees for the first 2019 customers, thereby celebrating the year when the car was first launched, would just be apt. But then again, let's see if Kia India will throw that curveball. If it does, the game is well and truly on.